Welcome to another Divine You podcast with yours truly, Dr. A.J. Green Sr. Tag, share, and text, share, and tag. Let people know that a new podcast has dropped. YouTube, and of course, audio version, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can find podcasts, you can find this one, The Divine You. As always, I'm honored and privileged to have you check in and check on me and grow at the same time. This is a place, this is your gate to uncovering infinite power within, prepared to evolve, transform, and ascend. Don't forget to follow me on various social media channels at AG Green Now, at AG Green Now. That's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. At AG Green Now is how you find me. And of course, our online hub is theaggreen.com, www.theaggreen.com. Everything is centralized there. You can keep up with what we're doing, what we're involved in. The present and the future are most certainly there. And of course, I want you to visit thedivinespeciesshop.com should you ever need any aids on your spiritual journey, including my latest book, Unshackling Your Mind, Discover and Overcome Limited Beliefs. That book is up for a limited time. I'm going to be taking it down, and it'll go to another version that I'll be sharing with you all in the future. But you can request prayer there. You can access some of our paraphernalia, like this wonderful shirt, I Am Powerful, and so many other things. DivineSpeciesShop.com. Welcome again to you. So glad to have you on the broadcast on this particular day. Now, I'm getting ready to get into some good stuff. All right. Preparing you for another installment that we began to teach you. On the last podcast, we're picking up with part 2. This is me just handling some business before we get going. How does that sound, everybody? So we're about to make it do what it do and get into the second installment of what I started discussing with you all in the last podcast. Again, I'm grateful for your love and your support. And I gently remind you again to make sure that you share this podcast with as many people as you possibly can, especially those who vibe with the tribe. And speaking of vibing with the tribe, patreon.com/AG Green Now, or you can download the app and look up AG Green Now. Join our spiritual community. There are 3 tiers, and the upper tiers is where I drop the knowledge. I want to make sure that you get a chance to connect with us as a spiritual community, not a religious one. We're deconstructing religion, and at the same time, we're evolving, transforming, and ascending. This is episode 9. You manifest what you believe. Episode 9. You manifest what you believe. Thank you for the feedback from the last podcast on the subject, as well as previous podcasts. I appreciate your feedback in any form. Thank you for letting me know that you're listening and that what I'm saying is having an impact on you. So, as it relates to us discussing the subject of faith, we move into the next iteration or next installment in discussing faith. And I want to move into the subconscious dimension. As I explained to you all the last time, I believe we are spirits who possess a soul and live in a body. At any rate, I believe we're both spiritual and physical, spiritual and material. When I say material, I mean uh, I'm discussing the material nature of the material fabric of this universe. I also believe, though, that the spiritual dimension, and in that spiritual dimension, there are spiritual bodies spiritual beings, so forth and so on, that are made up of what I might call immaterial spiritual DNA, a spiritual matter of sorts that is, of course, much different than physical matter. But nevertheless, you are really a spiritual being of a divine class. You possess a soul, you have mind, will, and emotions, and you live in a physical construct, a physical body, excuse me, that interfaces with a physical three-dimensional construct. As I shared in my explanation last week, all spiritual beings use faith to create. I'm going to say it again. All spiritual beings use faith to create. We use faith to create things we desire in terms of what we define as good and things we desire in terms of things we define as bad. This is how things show up in your world. So many psychologists believe in the subconscious mind and the power of the subconscious mind. And I have discovered that in addition to the conscious mind, there are some people who believe in the subconscious. There's others who believe in the unconscious. And then there's another group who believes in the superconscious. For today's discussion, I'm going to talk about the subconscious mind. It is believed to be the thing, of course, that runs the autonomic uh, systems of the body or autonomic nervous system. But in addition to that, it is believed to be the mastermind of our reality, the mastermind, even of consciousness, the mastermind of everything we see. I've read a lot of books on the subject, and I continue to read and educate myself on this particular subject matter. And having been a pastor for over 25 years and having multiple academic degrees in theological disciplines, naturally my foundation in Christianity and my foundation in that particular lens or perspective causes me to think maybe slightly differently than people who didn't have that same kind of what raising that same kind of system. I would say to you that my perspective is that the subconscious mind, I believe, is uh, more like the spiritual part of our being, more like the spiritual mind, more like the spiritual gateway, if I could say it, because the way it's described by many writers and authors as if it's is immaterial. Don't get me wrong, there are some people who believe it is a part of the central nervous system itself. And I do attribute a lot of what we can accomplish in this world to brain power. I have no doubt about it that we are created as a powerful organic machinery, and we're able with our brains in this physical dimension to do wonderful things. We have a pineal gland. Many people feel like its production of DMT enables us to access the spiritual gateway. That is definitely a theory. That is definitely a belief. I believe we're spirits, period. Whether we use the third eye, what they call the third eye, not that's what the pineal gland is referred to. It's really referred to by spiritual mystics and sages from thousands of years ago as the third eye, or the access to the next dimension. Some call the fourth, the fifth, or the sixth dimension, but it's the spiritual dimension. Now, having said all that, getting back to the subconscious mind, I do believe that it is a um, powerful part of any discussion as it relates to manifesting things, a powerful part of any discussion as it relates to reality creation. And apparently, there are patterns that are impressed upon the subconscious mind from the conscious mind. These patterns are impressed through emotion. And whatever it is the subconscious mind receives, which is believed to be the subjective mind, which means that is not responsible for reason. It's not trying to deduce anything. It is merely carrying out what the conscious mind has impressed upon it as a belief system. So, for example, if in your experiences in life you formed a philosophy that uh, I'm always going to struggle, and you attached an emotion to that, a sad, an emotion of sadness, an emotion of fear, and you had that experience over and over and over again in your life. Many believe it's impressed upon the subconscious mind, And the subconscious mind, again, which is a subjective mind, does not argue with it because this is what you told it life was. This is what you told it you are and were. It is believed that it then will produce experiences in your life that are in alignment with what you told it you were or what you told it you wanted, which would mean more miserable financial struggles, more miserable episodes of lack and deficiency, because this is what you impressed upon it. So many believe that the subconscious mind is the soul of reality. Your subconscious mind is not a mechanical processor, it is living soil. I do believe that it is alive. And again, as I just described, it accepts whatever seeds you plant. Whether we plant seeds of abundance, scarcity, love, fear, lack, it's going to accept it. It's going to grow it with relentless fidelity. And just to inject here, you can read more on this subject, patreon.com/AG Green now. The free membership tier, I have a series of articles on reality creation, and I'm actually teaching you in this podcast excerpts from those articles. So it's through emotional intensity that is believed that the belief is installed in the subconscious mind. And from there, it carries out what we have programmed it to do. Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote a powerful book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And I ran across it from one of my spiritual sons who got it at a old bookstore, some kind of bookstore, and said, "Hey," they called me Doc. I found this book. And shout out to AJ Vassar, who is a successful entrepreneur right now. He's the one who gave me the book. I never gave it back to him. I read that book from cover to cover. I think I've read it 2 or 3 times. I love it. And Dr. Joseph Murphy, a PhD, and I think he was also an MD, wrote a stellar book that is still a bestseller on the subconscious mind. And he says in that book, your subconscious mind accepts the dominant idea impressed upon it, end quote. So, whatever dominant ideas that you and I have about life, about love, about finances, about education, about relationships, it's all believed to be impressed upon that subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind has access or connection as a gateway to the universe, access and connection as a gateway believed to be to the spiritual world, access and a gateway to the creative realm, the creative dimension, and brings these things into existence in your personal life. This is what many spiritual teachers believe. Some psychologists are also on board with it as well. So understand, feelings of wealth, they believe, attract wealth. So if we feel like we're wealthy, whether we got a dime in the bank or not, or a lot of money in the bank or not, and we continue to maybe impress that with the identity or the sense of wealth, that again, we take on the identity through the thoughts, the feelings, and the emotions, but we're impressing it upon that part of our being to say, I am wealthy. And maybe with joy attached to it, maybe with a sense of safety and security. If we continue to do that, it is believed that wealth is going to come into your life. Now, remember, the law of attraction talks about uh, matching vibrational frequencies or matching a frequency of the thing that you want. That's why they believe it's you are emitting some kind of frequency. And as you impress it upon the subconscious mind, it emits that frequency and somehow, some way, uh, beyond the conscious mind and beyond uh, the naked eye, contributes to the manifestation of the thing in your life. The feeling of love, they believe, attracts love. The feeling of fear attracts experiences, they say, matching fear. Your emotional tone sets the vibration of your personal reality. I do believe this. I'm telling you now, family. Uh, when I decided, like Neville Goddard said, talked about faith as having loyalty to the unseen. When I decided to have a loyalty to the unseen, not in an adverse way, but in a positive way, I can actually say, even now, today, while I'm talking with you, that even if things on the physical landscape of my life or the physical financial landscape of my life in terms of accounts don't look the way I want them to look in the moment, I can honestly say that having that feeling of wealth always attracts new opportunities or produces new opportunities in my life. And again, that feeling is connected to a faith, it's connected to a knowing that the creator, source, and sustainer in the universe favors me. The conscious universe favors me. And so, yes, I am radiating and transmitting some kind of energy. And again, if you've heard me teach before, you realize your brain waves uh, are measurable and transmit, as well as an electromagnetic field from the heart. So some doctors say up to 3 feet, some others say it unlimited. The bottom line is there is this exchange between us and the spiritual dimension as spirits with the spiritual and physical dimension. There's something happening, a give, a giving, and a receiving that's happening between us, the spiritual and the physical universe. We are definitely having an impact on our own reality based on what we think and based on what we feel. So, let me give you a few tips. Let me look at my time here. I still got a little more time. I want to tell you that there's a divine partnership that exists between faith and feeling. They are both partners in creation. So faith selects the blueprint, the version of the desired end. It decides what the desired end is. It sees and takes us to the desired end. Feeling animates the blueprint, impressing it upon the subconscious. So I want you to understand the power of feeling. Now, this was revelatory for me because as a Christian teacher or preacher, I've written multiple books on faith before I got to the stage where I was deconstructing. And we were always taught that in most cases, faith is not about feeling. But the truth be told, if you are living out a faith experience, a true faith experience in your heart and in your imagination, there's going to be some kind of feeling tone connected to it. It's the truth and nothing but the truth. If you have been dealing with different, diseases in your body, and you begin to uh, utilize your faith to see yourself at the doctor getting a clean bill of health, or seeing yourself in the doctor's office, and he walks in that office and says you don't have diabetes or you don't have cancer or your heart is fine or whatever. That should be an excitement in that vision, because you would be excited. The feeling that you feel in that moment when you see it in the vision or hear it. Some people are more auditorily inclined, so they might not see it, but they might hear the conversation. That's going to be a joy that arises in you. That's that feeling in that moment where you're imagining through auditory means or imagining through inner vision or inner imagination. It's important because science proves that biology gets involved with our faith. I'm gonna say it again. Science has proven that when we think, imagine, and speak something, the body sees it as real. Again, the subconscious mind, interject this, doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. Whatever we impress upon it, it believes it's real. So whatever we're meditating on and imagining, the body itself takes it as being real. That's why there's a physiological response to joy, to happiness, even a physiological response to eroticism. Yes, when you're imagining that you're with your partner, you're making love or doing whatever it is you're doing, they might be 100 miles away or 1,000 miles away, but you get aroused because your body believes it's real, because it is real. More time to get into that maybe at another time. All right. So I want you to understand the power of feeling. Neville Goddard mentions in one of his lectures, he says, feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption, and your assumption will harden into fact. I've done this effectively to manifest many, many things in my life. There's no need to beg, there's no need to grovel, there's no need to starve yourself on the fast. Just understand how to use faith, understand how to use what you automatically have, and use the inner tools and the inner, uh, I should say, spiritual mechanisms to produce the reality that you want. And I'm giving you some tips on how to do that right now. Last but not least, before I get into a few tips, quantum physics reveals that the observer's belief and expectation impact reality at the micro level. This is from Wheeler and Zurich, Quantum Theory and Measurement, 1983. I'm not going to get into the observer effect that comes from the double slit experiment, but again, science on a quantum level is acknowledging consciousness on that level, but also acknowledging that the scientists who were part of the experiment, who had an intention which was a faith, was received by the subatomic particles, was noticed. So when it thought it was being examined, it produced the outcome that the scientists thought it would produce. When it thought that it was not being examined, meaning it's not being watched, then it produced its own outcome. That's pretty much describing it. All right. That's how powerful our intentions, our desires, and our faith is. It literally has an impact on physical matter and the physical dimension. Okay. So I want you to understand that emotional energy, though difficult to measure, correlates with physiological changes, heart rate variability because of emotion. We have hormonal shifts because of emotions. We have a change in neurological patterns because of emotions. The great Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is the founder of epigenetics, which means above genetics, a field that they laughed and scoffed at him about over 20 years ago, that is now being widely accepted. Dr. Lipton believed that with thoughts and feelings, we could change genetic expressions. Here's a quote from him. He says, "Your beliefs become your biology," end quote, from the Biology of Belief 2005. I'm going to say it again. Your beliefs become your biology, meaning whatever it is your dominant thoughts, your dominant core beliefs. Your body is in alignment with that, and your body produces the results of what you believe. And remember, this belief can be positive or this belief can be negative, but your body is going to be in alignment with what you believe. So, thus, faith or belief and feeling and emotion do not just influence experience, they structure the very matter of life. Let me give you a couple of tips, family, and then we're going to end this second session. Let's see, what tips do I want to give you today? I got a couple of options here. I guess I'll basically give you a couple of things for you to consider that you can, start practicing today. Practice morning immersion, number one. Type it in the comment section, morning immersion, and I hope you're taking notes while we're talking and typing in the comment section. So before you get out of bed, I want you to imagine one fulfilled desire. I tried to think of my whole day actually before I got out of bed, but you might try one fulfilled desire and then feel the emotional reality of it in your heart. That's the first thing. Okay. Number two, midday emotional check in. Pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? If the feeling is off track, gently shift by recalling your imaginal scene. And then number three, evening gratitude preview. Before you sleep, give thanks for the fulfilled reality. Not asking, but thanking as if it's already done. You know why? Because this is living from the end, not toward it. I hope you enjoyed these two presentations on faith. I got more to come in the future. I just want to gently remind you to pick up my book at divinespeciesshop.com, Unshackling Your Mind, Discover and Overcome Limiting Beliefs. It has blessed many people who've been able to get their hands on it, and I know it's going to bless you as well. Okay, there are over $100 worth of companions study benefits that come with it, including a personal video from me. You can go to theaggreen.com/sign up, or as I have mentioned to you before, you can go to divinespeciesshop.com. Divinespeciesshop.com. It'll be downloaded within minutes. And remember, this is up for a limited time. Eventually, I'm going to take it down because we're moving on to something else. All right. I thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast on today. I hope you're sharing it with your friends. I want to leave you with a power thought, as I always do, something for you to resonate that might resonate within you. What you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. End quote, Buddha. We'll say it one more time. What you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. End quote, Buddha. Thank you.